Spider-Man Far From Home.
You gonna be the next Iron Man now?
Well, no, I don't have time. I'm too busy doing your jobs.
What?
I'm kidding. Look, keep up the good work.
Because I am going on vacation.
So Spider-Man Far From Home picks up after the events of Endgame, but it's also the sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming, and it's also the epilogue of, well, we said Endgame, but also the very final film in Phase 3 of the Marvel Universe. So there's a whole lot riding on this movie. This movie has to do a lot of things. And it does it pretty well. Our story is we catch up with Peter Parker and all his friends, Mary Jane and, I can't remember Jacob Batalon. Ned. I think that's right. I remember the actor, not the name.
Yeah. Goofy, lovable sidekick. Yeah.
So Spider-Man feels like he needs a break. He's been, the events of Endgame have happened. Tony Stark is dead and gone, and he is really feeling that loss, and he wants to get away. He wants to put down the cape and the cowl for a while and just spend time with his friends. They have this trip planned to Europe, and he wants to go and romance Mary Jane and tells her how he feels about her and just leave the superhero stuff behind. But he can't because he's Spider-Man, and Nick Fury is on his tail to get him to either step up and lead the Avengers or still stay involved. In the meantime, we see the appearance of a mysterious hero named Quentin Beck, played brilliantly by Jake Gyllenhaal, who looks like he could be the one to take up the mantle of Tony Stark. So that's our setup. Zach, what'd you think?
I'm going to be honest. I really struggled with the first third of this movie, what you'd commonly refer to as the first act. Trying to pick up the pieces after Avengers Endgame felt clumsy. It just did. Like, they tried to explain a lot that I felt like almost didn't need to be explained. I kind of just wanted a fun Spider-Man romp, and, you get in this movie and you remember, oh, yeah, they have to explain things that happened in Endgame, and that's, 23 films of plot and lore, so they got to kind of tack that into a high school romance story, and that felt a little clumsy, but things get rolling by the middle, and towards the end of the film you feel like you're watching a good old-fashioned Spider-Man film. I liked it a lot. It took me a while to come around on it, but I'm into it, and I want to talk about why. What did you think of Spider-Man Far From Home?
I really liked it as well. What Marvel has done so well is focus on their characters and their kind of internal and personal struggles, and that's what we get here as well. We have several conflicts. We have Peter dealing with the death of Tony Stark, but also the struggle of, does he want to continue to be a superhero? Does he want to keep putting himself on the line or putting his family and friends in danger? At the same time, he's a teenager dealing with awkward teenage feelings and not knowing how to express himself, not knowing how to act around the girl he likes. And at the same time, he has this void of not having a father figure, of which Quentin Beck somewhat kind of feels like he is that a little bit in the front. So I really liked the kind of the personal drama we got, the internal conflict, and then of course we get a lot of humor, we get a lot of good quips, we get really good action, a lot of special effects, all that stuff that we've known Marvel to do. And yeah, I thought it was a really good film, and it really wraps up the end of Phase 3 really nicely.
So I think it's going to be challenging to talk about a bit of the plot in this movie because
Agreed.
It kind of, it like I said, it builds on a lot of the plot and lore of the previous Marvel films, Endgame included. So I don't really know the best way to get into that, but for now, let's start with the things that aren't necessarily directly Endgame related, right? Peter Parker, fish out of water. He's in Europe. He doesn't have his spider suit. He's trying not to be a superhero, and Nick Fury is trying to hunt him down for a mission, and he's like, I just want to go romance this girl and do my thing and be a teenager. Leave me alone. Kind of funny. Bit of a screwball comedy in some elements. At some parts, there's some goofy kind of ultimately good. What did you think of that?
Like I said, I like that the movie was much smaller in scale. We're dealing with Spider-Man and his friends and his family and his relationships to the Avengers and other people. And we get this interesting character in Quentin Beck, which reminded me a lot of Jake Gyllenhaal's same character in Nightcrawler, Louis Bloom, who's maybe too charming to be trusted, too good to be true, in a way. And I don't know how much this is. I'm going to tiptoe around this because the main his character. There's a lot about him, and if you're familiar with his character from the comics, then you're gonna know certain things, and if you're not, then you're not.
Well,
I will say that
yeah.
illusions and things not being what they seem is a big theme in this film.
Yes.
And what is, it's about questioning kind of what's presented to you or what you see and kind of thinking through these things. And there's a really great line kind of towards the end of the film when someone says, people need to believe, and so they will believe anything. And that's a whole theme that goes through the film, this thing of deception and kind of misinformation, which is very culturally and politically relevant at this moment.
And applies a lot to Peter, who's trying to lead this double life. He's trying to tell Nick Fury, yeah, I'll help you out with this mission thing. You got it. And he's also trying to tell his friends, no, I'm not Spider-Man. I'm normal Peter Parker, and everything's fine, And he's trying to juggle those two things. There's a little bit of a duality there with this other character, Quentin Beck, who's from this alternate dimension and what he's got going on. And I think, I don't know. I guess I wish the illusion had been played up a little bit more as far as overarching theme goes. But you do get some really cool scenes with it, right? You see him in the trailer, these scenes with these giant water monsters and smoke monsters, and then there's some extended illusion, kind of Doctor Strange-esque montage stuff going on where the screen warps and cool things happen. That was all super rad. The effects hold up just like any other Marvel movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, the whole illusion thing, I don't want to get into that too much because it's a really cool part of the thing. But it makes for some really cool scenes, some cool fight scenes, some other set pieces, and poses a challenge for our main heroes because they get into a situation where they can't trust what they see and hear.
Mm-hmm. I think picking up after the events of Endgame is tough for this movie. It's a tough thing to carry, right? Because this movie is trying to be two things. It's trying to, on the one hand, be a fun Spider-Man movie, and the second in this new Spider-Man series, it's also trying to cap off the end of a ton of events of the previous film. It's trying to explain things that happen and set up a little bit for what's to come next. It's tough. I mean, when the first trailer came out for this movie, it opened with Tom Holland explaining if you hadn't seen Endgame, don't watch the trailer because there's spoilers in it. That's the line this movie has to walk. Yeah. I think that kind of hurts it a little bit. I almost wish it had been simpler. That's just me. What do you think about that?
I didn't mind it. I thought it made for some really good comedic elements of because we get these news footage of people being just popped back into existence.
Right.
Which is good for some laughs, and there's just a lot of laughs from that, and they call it the blip, and you either have been blipped or you haven't.
Referring to when people in Endgame disappeared for 5 years and then came back, and that's called the blip now. They try to explain that in terms of high school kids and how some of them vanished and others didn't, so some have to just go right back to school and others are now 5 years older. It kind of jumps the shark a little bit for me. It's just hard for me to feel okay, this is possibly real life. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah. Let's talk about the characters. All right. Okay. Let's talk about Peter. Let's talk about MJ. Let's talk about Ned, Aunt May. You've got a couple characters from Iron Man, Nick Fury in here. I thought everybody was played pretty well. I struggled a little bit with the sidekick, Ned. He was a little bit tough for me, fun in places. MJ, played by Zendaya, and Peter Parker, played by Tom Holland, I thought were both great. Yeah. Fantastic. Samuel L. Jackson I feel like he's actually really going for it in these movies now. I feel like he's not just phoning it in. He actually he's going to play his character well. I enjoyed everybody in it. Yeah. What'd you think?
I thought Tom Holland was great. He really captures that awkward teenage, doesn't know how to act or say, and considering he's in his 20s, it's funny to see him do it and pull it off convincingly. Zendaya is. I really like her take on MJ because she's essentially really dark. She's gothic without looking gothic. She's very morbid and has a really dark sense of humor, and is always kind of roasting Peter and Ned for being dorks. There's a lot of fun there, and there's this really pretty funny subplot with Ned and where he sits next to the girl on a plane, and they kind of they get on the plane not knowing each other. They get off the plane, boyfriend and girlfriend. So that's a whole subplot that's really pretty funny.
Right. Now, something that is different, I did watch the first Spider-Man Homecoming, I guess. I watched that yesterday before I watched this one because I hadn't seen it. Christine watched it with me. This one is a little bit at odds with the former movie because in the last Spider-Man movie, he's trying to be an Avenger. I don't want to do this stupid high school stuff. I'm out. I want to be an Avenger. And also, I'm interested in this girl named Liz. And that movie goes through. Liz kind of goes off and does her own thing. But then suddenly in this movie, he's all about this MJ character. There's really no... I don't remember a bit where he was just like, I think I'm going to pursue this girl now. Doesn't really happen. And maybe that's just high school. Maybe that's just fun. But he's just different from the last Spider-Man movie. Events of Avengers included in that, I guess. I suppose that changes a Spider-Man. So... Mm-hmm. Something to watch out for. But everybody else, I think, felt pretty good. It was just a lot of fun. The action was great, like I said. The CGI was good. It was funny. I laughed more than a few times in the movie. Spider-Man Far From Home, yeah, not so bad, I guess. Yeah. Are you ready for formal recommendations?
I am.
Andy, would you recommend Spider-Man Far From Home?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming. It's a good epilogue to the events of Endgame, and again, this is the official end of Phase 3 of Marvel, so we'll see kind of what comes next. Good performances, good action, great visuals, good performances by Jake Gyllenhaal, of course, is Quentin Beck, and some other surprises. Make sure you stay tuned for the 2 post-credit scenes.
Yes, I'd say I'm in the same boat. It's a lot of fun. You'll laugh. It does kind of feel like you have to have seen the other Marvel films to get this one, but I think the setup at the beginning is probably enough for you to really understand. If you've seen the first Spider-Man, I think that would help. But ultimately, you could probably go in fresh on this one. The kids act like high school kids. They're awkward and they're clumsy, and Peter Parker makes some foolish decisions, and you'll probably roll your eyes, but they're high school kids. So it doesn't feel that far out of place. The action is good. The humor is funny. It's a little long in the tooth at 2 hours, 9 minutes, but make sure you stick around for those post-credit scenes. They're very important. We can't talk about them because they're spoilers, but yeah, if you're going to watch it, do that. And otherwise, Spider-Man, probably worth your time. Worth the price of admission, I think.